Our guest for tonight is a lady who wears many hats: a swimmer, a linguist, a mother, and a wife. For the past 36 years, she has been a bearer of Indian culture in Germany. With her inspirational persona, she is VHRM's very own Amar Durga. A very warm welcome to you, Mandakranta Müller, to our VHRM family.
Thank you. Thank you for welcoming me on your platform.
Being a national level swimmer in India, with quite a few accolades to your name, was it a tough decision at that time to leave your home and come to Germany? Would you tell us what was going on in your mind when you first moved to this country?
Coming to your question, well, not really. In India, I've been always been very bold, pretty much emancipated, and I love doing things but others don't do. And this was quite a challenge for me. You know, a German guy falling in love with me, asking me to come over, wanted to get married to me. That was very interesting, and I was actually very happy, and I wanted to have my own freedom. You know, in India, we girls are very much pampered and protected. So I wanted to build up something new. I was just falling in love, you know, and when you were in love, you were ready to do anything and everything. So I think it wasn't tough at all. Of course, I had kind of a little, what should I say, hard feelings leaving my family behind, especially my mom and my friends. But it wasn't like I always knew that I can always come back whenever I had the time or I wanted to. So it was okay for me.
What was the reason behind not taking up swimming as a career in Germany?
Well, that's a pretty interesting question. Obviously, when I came here, the first query was if there was a pool here nearby, and the town or the little small village where I live, of course, we have two swimming pools, one indoor and one outdoor. So that was a privilege for a girl like me coming from Kolkata, where we didn't have any indoor swimming pools. But I figured it out that if I train here under some German trainer, obviously they would like to send me for competitions, and then I need to change my nationality, which I didn't want to do. So the main reason was obviously that I didn't want to give up my Indian passport. And even today, after 36 years of living here, I still hold my Indian passport. Of course, I swim. I swim very happily. That's my passion kind of a thing. I go swimming with my children, my grandchildren, and I just do it for fun nowadays.
In your opinion, what can be the takeaway from our Bengali or Indian culture that you wanted to pass on to your children?
Well, this is a pretty difficult question, you know, because you don't pass on to your kids only one thing. The values or things that are very important to you or you appreciate, you try to give on or give to them, or you show them those things. But answering to your question, if I have to pinpoint to a certain thing, I would say that the family values are very, very important to me, and I've always lived that life. I've played that role model for my children. Like after I came to Germany, I started living with my in-laws in the same house. We had in two different stories, but we lived in the same house. And I grew up in a joint family system myself, so I decided, for me it was very normal that when you get married and you come to a new house, that you live with your in-laws. That's what I got taught at home. So it was for me nothing unusual, and my in-laws didn't mind, and so we were living together. Then my children came along, they were born, and then they grew up here till my parents-in-law died. And now that the house belongs to us and we have a pretty big house, and I got very lucky in this respect that my sons moved in, or they're living in with their partners in the same house. And now I have the grandchildren also here. So basically we have kind of joint family or more generation living in a house. And this is, I think, something very that belongs a lot in Indian culture. I think this is something I would say, yes, that I've given or I passed on to my kids.
What has been by far the most important learning for you from the German culture and this country?
Well, Germany made me what I am today. Uh, when I came here, I didn't know anyone, and nobody knew me either. So I had to prove myself from scratch, and I had the feeling that the people here, they were not very appreciative of foreigners, and they didn't think much of the foreigners. So I had to always prove myself. I had to be a perfectionist, and I had to be always better than them. So in the process, that made me very confident. That made me hardworking. That gave me that grit, not to give up. And I learned to be on my own, to be on my own feet. Uh, yes, the confidence, the self-trust and the self-belief became, I mean, of course, it was all in me, but that became very prominent then. And of course, to be very punctual, to not to, like the Indian standard time, like your stretchable thing. So obviously, when there is an appointment, a date, then people are very much on time. So I learned that. And just to name a few, yes, confidence and to be independent, to be on my own feet. I think this land taught me a lot there. Yes, to be self-sufficient. Yes, of course.
Did your family visit Kolkata during Durga Puja from Germany? What was their reaction about the festival and the city?
Oh, of course, my children, they love my city. Before they were born, since they were toddlers, they've been always traveling with me when I go home. And they're very familiar with all my Indian festivals, be it Pujo, be it Holi, be it Bhai Phota, Bhai Dooj. Of course, they grew up seeing me doing things with my brother, or whenever I went home, they celebrated. They love Kolkata. For them, it is their holiday destination. Of course, they don't have the root feeling, but it's for them the city of the mother, and they love going there, especially the grandparents were there, or my mother is still there. And since we have a family pujo, they love attending it. So as children, they went there, but as soon as they started their school, so from class one right through their universities, they couldn't go because here during the months of September and October, we have classes, so they couldn't be absent and miss that. But my daughter, she spent a year of gap year after she finished her high school, and she spent in that whole year, she saw everything in India, and she took the Durga Puja as well. She loved it, be it the Dhakir Bhajna or the Kashmir Ghanta or the Shankofu, and doing all the pujo nitty gritty stuff like prasad cutting and the flower offerings and anjalis. Of course, she loved that. And whenever my children, they have their partners, they take them first to Kolkata to show their maternal house and the other half of their bloodline. Yes, they are in love with Kolkata, I think, and they love my culture, and they accept it just as much. They accept their own festivals because they are Catholics, and they also celebrate their Easters and their Christmas. So for them, it is Mama's festival, Mama's occasion, and they are completely integrated. And yes, they love Durga Puja just as much they love my city.
Since you have seen Durga Puja being celebrated at your Kolkata home from childhood, how did you feel when you could not go to Kolkata during the festive season as you started your life in Germany?
Oh, pretty bad, pretty bad. I was very homesick. I still am homesick. I left Kolkata, but Kolkata never left me. Not being able to go because of work and because of the children's schools to Kolkata during pujos used to be terrible for me. My parents missed me more because we had this pujo happening at home. So, but life goes on. At times you can't help it, so you just have to bear. But all the more, I make it up for now.
Standing in today's age of WhatsApp, Facebook, and Tinder, how do you feel about being pen friends with a foreigner back in your days and finding your life partner in him? It would be great to hear some of your memories regarding this.
Oh, well, that's a very tricky question. Oh, during our time, we didn't have internet. So for us, it was only letters. Of course, it took long, 12 days to reach and 12 days to get back. So writing letters were a lengthy process. But that was the fun of it, the tweet and, to expect and you looked forward to something. So that had its own charm. And basically, both my husband and I, we love writing letters. Even today, he writes me love letters on special days, even after 35 years of marriage. So it's in our blood, I think, or it's in our bones. Writing letters comes easy. And I find like going through old letters, you can flip through like a book, you have something in your hands. We haven't lost the charm of it, the fun of it. And I won't be able to say how it would have been if we had WhatsApp those days. But for me personally, through WhatsApp and all these social platforms, I have, of course, found a lot of school and college friends who were lost to me or for me for years. So communication has become very easy. The world has become global and it's a faster thing. But I found my life partner in a pen friend, and for me, it's good. So, I'm happy. Everything went fine. It's good. It's great.
It was such a pleasure for us to talk to you, and we thank you so much for being with us on this interview series. Wish you and your family a very safe year and a very happy Durga Pujo 2020.